Hello, beautiful people. This time I am in Kuala Lumpur in a city. As you can see, the scenery has changed. It's so interesting being in the city after living on a tropical island for a few months. I still love KL, it's still my home, but I do feel the energy is different. Um, and actually, being here in the city, when I speak about concepts like open love and tantra and open relationships, people are very curious because it's not such a common topic. So, being on the island in Kopangan, in my little community where everyone practices, most of people practice open relationships and tantra, it becomes very normal. Here, being back in the city, I'm being reminded that these concepts are very new, that we never studied open relationships in school. We don't have examples how to manage polyamory based on our parents or our cousins and anyone else, former generations. It's something that we're trying to define and create these days by ourselves. So we are the ones who are creating the models of how to make open relationships work. And so we talked about it a while ago. We had a Facebook Live, and lots of you reached out to me personally asking more questions. And so, from your questions and some things that I've been observing in myself as well, I wanted to share today, let's say, a shadow, the shadows of open relationships, or when we start using this concept of open love, open heart, being free, no attachment, no possessiveness. When we start using these really beautiful concepts as excuses for the behavior that doesn't serve you, doesn't serve others, and in fact can create more wounding. So we sometimes don't realize when we engage in a behavior that, let's say, theoretically is beautiful, but our intentions are not as clear. So what happens, what I've been also noticing is, well, some of us are naturally more prone to be in an open relationship than monogamy. But because monogamy is still the main concept, for a lot of us that means, cheating, having affairs or seeing people outside of your monogamous relationship. And so yes, it does become cheating because you're lying to your partner, you're not telling them what's happening. And so people like this, when they hear the concept of open relationship, they get really excited. They say, okay, this is for me. But cheating, it's not open relationship. I like to think of it is that open relationship means being open. So if you're not sure whether your intentions are right and whether you're actually practicing this higher, let's say, quality of open relationships, just ask yourself, am I being open? Am I being open with all of my partners? Am I being open with my main partner? Am I being open with myself? And if you find yourself that, I'm actually lying, I'm hiding information, then you're not being open. So having a first on the side, being a very sexual being, that doesn't mean you're in an open relationship. That does not mean you're practicing open love. So the step here is to really learn to communicate your needs to your partner and start inviting your partner to be more open towards more relationships and more partners as well, and see where they are. But you always want to meet your partner at the same level. Open relationships don't work if one of you wants it and the other one doesn't. You have to match yourself. It will still be a journey. Usually one of you will be more comfortable with the model than the other one. So you hold space for them, but you still gotta want the same thing. The second place where this label of open relationship is used as an excuse is for people who don't want to go deep. So I am a kind of a person who has certain commitment issues. I need my freedom, and I'm afraid to show the very deep part of who I am because there is this belief, very, very deep belief that deep inside me, I'm evil, I'm not good enough. That if they really saw me for who I really am, they would leave me. And so I have this great persona created, and that's the only thing I allow them to see. And so it's very easy to use open relationships as an excuse of not going that deep and not showing this deeper part of you to your partner. Because when you just have one partner, you are spending a lot of time with them, and it's a natural process of going deeper and deeper and them discovering parts of you and seeing you in situations when you get angry, for example. Now, when you have multiple partners, it's very easy to move between them, so you don't spend as much time, and so they never actually see the deeper layers of you. So again, if you notice yourself doing that, just notice I'm doing this kind of behavior, that may be my intention, and consciously go deeper. Talk to your partners, say that, okay, I have this thing. I'm afraid to show you the darker sides of me, what I consider the darker side of me. I'm afraid that you will leave me. Have this conversation and then have them help you go through the process of opening up. Most of us are afraid of commitment. Even the people who are like attached, crazy, people who are just like, no, I want you, I want to get married right now, you're only mine. The truth is they're also afraid of showing the deeper parts of them because there's wounding. So just recognize it, and when you recognize it, consciously make a decision to go through the process. And then finally, because these days open relationships are linked a lot to Tantra, so a lot of spirituality will bring up the concept of open relationships. Let's keep one thing straight. Open relationships and spirituality do not have to come together. These can be very separate concepts. It's like Tantra and sex. You can include it, you don't have to. But these days, a lot of us do. And I, for example, coming from the tantric background, I look at open relationships as a spiritual practice, as a possibility of going deeper, of practicing unconditional love, of letting go of various layers of my ego, not just to have lots of fun with many different partners. And so what can happen is that, we practice open relationships because we want to let go of this need to possess your partner, letting go of jealousy, letting go of attachment. But the truth is that these things will come up because we all have them. This is a very normal thing for our ego to be there. And so let's say you're the partner and they get triggered. They get jealous because you are with someone else. And now instead of holding space for them, instead of guiding them and being responsible for how they feel, you say that, oh, love, that's just your issues. You got to work with that. And you step away. So you use the spirituality cap as like, oh, that's just your shit. Yeah, in the ideal world, that's how it would be. If your partner, one of your partners gets triggered, you'd be like, well, you go and meditate on that. But we don't live in times when we are as evolved, and we need each other's support to go through these moments. When you open yourself to more partners, there will be more triggers because there's more jealousy than in a monogamous relationship. There will be these questions. Am I good enough? Am I satisfying my partner? And it's kind of a really douchebag move if you're going to take a lot of partners and they take absolutely no responsibility for the fact that they will be triggered by your behavior. That's actually quite selfish. They will be. And a beautiful thing you can do is actually hold space for them and guide them through this process. Because guess what? You will also be triggered. And when you get triggered, again, you can withdraw away from the world and meditate and do whatever you can do, or you can speak to your partners and go through the process with them, which is a less painful process, actually more effective process, and a faster process. So let's offer these things to each other. So these are these three areas where I see people a lot using the concept of free love, of open relationship, as an excuse for the behavior that doesn't actually serve anyone. So just bring awareness. If you are in an open relationship or if you want to be in one, really be honest with yourself. What are your intentions? Now, it doesn't mean that your intention should be to practice true unconditional love, because it's an ideal that's usually not the case for most of us. For like 99% of us, that's not our reality. It's great to aspire to that, but that's not actually the reason why we do open relationships. Our reasons are kind of more pragmatic. But just be honest with yourself. Really spend time to understand why is it that you want to be in one. So that it does come from a pure place, and so it does support the growth of you and all of your partners. So comment below. Let me know for you, if you have been in an open relationship or if you want to be in one, what do you feel that are your reasons for that? Why do you feel interested in exploring this concept? Let us know under the video and let's have the conversation going. And sending you lots of kisses. Have a beautiful day wherever you are.